My name is Mary, and I had an autologous transplant. It was for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
My name is Deborah. I had an allogeneic transplant about 1.5 years ago. My stem cells came from an unrelated donor.
My name is Gilbert, and I've been diagnosed with multiple myeloma. I was diagnosed in 2004, April, roughly after a year of trying to figure out what I had.
I have multiple myeloma, and it was recommended to me by my oncologist that if I was ever going to do a transplant, now was the best time for me.
So my name is Allison, and I had aplastic anemia, very severe aplastic anemia, which is a bone marrow failure disease. And I had 2 allo transplants. One was a bone marrow transplant for my brother, and the second was a stem cell transplant from my dad.
It was scary a little bit, but never having gone through anything like that. It was explained to me in detail what to expect, and it was true. Everything they told me was true. And but still, when you're doing something for the first time, and there is a possibility of failure, and they explained that to me up front, and I was clear on that part. But just not knowing what to expect day to day makes you a little anxious. But it all went very well. So I was very pleased with that overall experience.
It was my second diagnosis with lymphoma. I'd been diagnosed previously, and that was in December of '06. Went through quite a lot of chemo, went into remission, and I pretty well knew at the time that if it came back, that there was a very good chance that I'd have to have a bone marrow transplant. And it came back quickly and with a rage. It had been very large the first time. The second time it came back, it was twice as large. So I really wasn't all that surprised when I was first told I would need a bone marrow transplant. It was a little scary, but I wasn't surprised, and I just really wanted to be able to get a bone marrow transplant because I knew that not everyone is a good candidate for it, and that there was a possibility that I might not be able to get one. So instead of really dreading it and thinking how horrible it was, I just wanted to be a viable candidate to receive a transplant.
Well, at first I was a little sad, sort of overwhelmed, because I wasn't sure what to expect. And when I heard transplant, I'm thinking major procedure. But then I got a little excited because it was something new, and thought, well, I like to try new things anyway, so transplant's new, definitely.
Many people, when asking me how I felt when I was told I had multiple myeloma, feel a little startled. But I really felt pleased and relieved because I was losing my health, I was losing weight, I was losing strength, I was losing the essence of life without any understanding of where I was going. But as soon as I found out what I had, I knew then, after talking to doctors who were very, very reassuring, nurses who were very reassuring, that I had a chance to really step it up and push myself toward a cure for that disease.
When I first found out I was going to have a transplant, I thought that maybe they were mistaken because I had been referred from student health to a hematologist, and from the hematologist to the bone marrow transplant. And no one had ever mentioned a bone marrow transplant to me before I went to the bone marrow clinic. And so I thought I was just going to have kind of my first appointment, and we'd talk about finding a diagnosis because I hadn't even been diagnosed yet. There were just some guesses. And then the coordinator handed me this big notebook about bone marrow transplants. And I was like, oh, I don't think I need this. But as the summer went on, it became apparent that I did. Everything happened really fast. So it was just kind of day by day, week by week, letting it sink in.
I think the primary things were to listen and do what I was advised to do by doctors, nurses, other people who'd been through the experience. And a lot of it meant taking care of myself, trying not to get sick. That was extremely important. I didn't want to have an infection before I came in and unable to have the transplant. So I tried to take care for that. I also thought about that I was going to be in the hospital for about 3 weeks, and I gave a lot of thought to what am I going to do? How am I going to entertain myself? So I did buy books, quite a few books. I went and bought myself a laptop computer. I found out that I'd be able to use wireless here, so that worked out great. I just wanted to stay in good shape. I tried to keep walking, to stay as healthy as I could, and that was the biggest part. Doing my treatments, everything when I should do it, trying to eat right and trying not to catch colds or bugs.
I prayed a lot. I talked to the doctors, my doctor at home. I spoke with him a lot, my oncologist, and he answered lots of questions for me. And the Leukemia Society has lots of pamphlets and books, so I went online and read a lot of information there. And when I came up here to talk about the transplant and what it would be like, they gave me this little notebook and it had lots of question answer type things in it. So before we came up here for the transplant, I bought wigs, and my girls wore wigs, I wore wigs, and we had the best time just wearing wigs around the house, and we bought lots of scarves that we played with. So that kind of prepared them to see me wearing scarves and wigs and that sort of thing. So,
in order to prepare myself for the transplant, I suppose I did the things that most people recommend. Look at the family affairs, the family business, talk to my doctors, talk to my family, talk to my lawyer, be sure that I had all my paperwork in place in case I became ill for a long period of time.
I did some major sorting out of things I wanted to bring, which was really good because I didn't know how long I would end up here. So picked out my favorite books. One of my friends made a compilation of poems for me to bring, and I ended up reading poetry a lot. Picked out my favorite music and a couple stuffed animals and posters and things like that. And my mom and I went shopping for fun pajamas.
Oh, very
so that I was really glad not to have to wear like hospital clothes during my stay, because I think little things like that are what make the difference, and made me feel more at home wearing my clothes and seeing things that were familiar. So I tried to do those kinds of things before I came, and I think that no matter how much you try to process what you're about to go through, you can't ever really wrap your mind around it.